Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We decided to tone down the intro screen a bit. We got some comments that my face was a little aggressively on there, and I do not disagree. I was kind of tired of seeing it as well. So hopefully this will work a little bit better for everybody. We've got another game analysis video today, courtesy of a donation. We're going to be looking at the UVA UMD game from Cavalier Cup this fall. And I just want to say again how much I really appreciate the support from everybody. If you're looking to donate now, I'm getting these perks out about, I'd say, a week out now. We're developing a bit of a backlog, but I'll make sure to get to everybody's, I promise. We're staying at once a day content, if not more, and we'll promise to get to everybody. There's just some other videos I want to mix in too, some back to basics videos and such. Again, thank you for the support. If you want to make sure you're seeing all the videos as they come out, like and subscribe here. You can like us on Facebook, Instagram. Instagram's where you can see pictures of my cat, which really makes it the best channel. Facebook's a really easy place, though, to get updates as well. Thanks again for the support, and let's get into it. So today I wanted to do something a little bit different in this video, since these are two teams I'm pretty familiar with. And I want to do a little bit of a scouting report on each of them, and then we'll get into the video and break it down and see how they kind of go up against each other. I want to specifically talk about their defenses. So let's start with UVA, who's in the blue here against Virginia Tech. This is also from this fall. So the UVA defense is kind of a 1-2-1. So you've got your point defender, you've got two players near the hoops, you've got one player behind the hoops. This defensive style has its roots all the way back in Emerson Quidditch in the World Cup 6, World Cup 7 era when they made the run all the way to the Final Four. And it's a very beater-heavy defense. It has really more in common with Baylor's hoop zone, which is 3 players across the hoops and a point defender, than it does with, say, the 2-2 zones that are becoming very omnipresent across the sport. And the reason for this is simple, right? You need your beaters to be closing up all of these areas, right? Look how much space is on both sides of this point defender, and you can see this guy's wide open. Right now, there was just a big exchange of beats for this particular play. I'll show you another example where you see the beaters kind of taking up that space better. But with all this space, if your beaters can't cover it, you're going to be in trouble. There's going to be massive cutting lanes. And they counter this with a very, very athletic two-male beater set. That Emerson team I was talking about, Leanne Dillman was one of the beaters there, a very, very top-notch beater. To play this defense, you need to have beaters who are winning a lot. And in this case, you see the exchange of beats, and then I think the easiest way to beat this defense is these hard cuts hitting in stride. You don't want to hit someone flat like you might against a 2-2 zone. You want to be hitting on a cut so that the defense has to adjust, and I think it breaks down pretty quickly a lot to that if the beaters aren't in position to handle it. So we'll see very quickly how Virginia Tech scores on this play. Just an easy enough cut to the hoops. Really unpicked up because there's nobody defending that space. Let's look at one other play. This play comes from their game against James Madison. And it's kind of a similar situation. I do want to show that the beaters are kind of filling that space. Let's go back a little bit. Look at the way the UVA beaters play to fill in that space with their bludgers that isn't being covered by Quaffle players. But once it starts breaking down with actual attacks on those beaters, those spaces open up again. You can go in the wing. That wasn't really that attacking pass. This next one that's going to set up the goal is a little bit more of a throwing a player into space. He's going to drive, and he's got an easy pass. And the defense kind of breaks down there in a similar fashion. So you want to hit those hard cutting lanes against this defense. So why does a team like UVA play this defense, and why might it be a defense that's worth using for you? Like I said, it's a beater-dominant defense. If you have really good beaters, there's a lot of strength to it. If your team's not as physical, and UVA admits, this is from Billy Qua's video just the other day.
They hit hard. They want to come hit us, and I'm just glad we came out and hit them. Like, that was really our game. We like to have the physicality be kind of like our secondary, sort of the surprise attribute.
Right, so they like their physicality to be their secondary attribute. They are a beater-heavy team, so they're playing a beater-heavy defense. It makes a lot of sense. Let's swing over to UMD now, okay? So UMD plays a 2-2 defense, but they play it as more of a hybrid. So what do I mean by a hybrid? You see these two players at the hoops. This is exactly what you'd expect from your standard 2-2 defense. But then look where the two top players are playing. They're playing man defense, and they're playing a lot higher than these cav walls we're used to seeing more recently. They're both players are tracking a player in man defense. You're going to see switches just like it would in man defense. He's being pointed out to a player, not to space. So it's more of a hybrid zone. The strength of this zone is that it makes it harder for these top players to kind of drive in. Against a team like UT, who's used to playing this really drive and dish heavy strategy, it makes a lot of sense. The way it breaks down is that by these two players playing man high, there's an off-ball player on the other side, right? On kind of the strong side. So if we consider the ball here to be on the strong side, there's nobody covering out here. You can't see him in the feed here. But we're going to see another play and how this kind of breaks down from that. So similar situation, right? You've got your two high defenders. One's covering the weak side off-ball player. One's covering the ball handler. There's going to be a player over here. And watch how this blows up the whole play for UMD. Not even a strong pass, but just out to space. And they can't respond to it fast enough. And eventually that's going to be a goal for UT. So against UMD, I want to see passes going to that strong side unmarked quaffle player who can then drive into space and create a goal-scoring opportunity. For UVA, I want to see them trying to neutralize the beaters to some degree before they go, and then really hitting those moving cuts. So let's see which of these teams can do that better. All right, so as I said, we'll get into the actual video now between UVA and Maryland. This is from Cavalier Cup in the fall of 2019. Get brooms up. John Sheridan wins the race to the quaffle. Scores pretty simple, straightforward. UMD 10-0. Let's skip ahead. Budget control looks like also went to UMD. So we talked about UVA really needing that budget control to play their defense. We'll see if they're patient and try to work their way to budget control. They get it pretty easily there on a nice misbeat. It's good movement. Yeah, okay. So let's see how this breaks down here. So they just attack the point defender here. This defense can't afford the point defender to lose. So once that happens, it's all going to start breaking down and options are going to start opening. Pretty easy goal there. UMD doesn't play much of this 2-mil style, so we'll see if they switch out of it or if they try to stay with it and how it affects their defensive set. Score 10-10 now. So same situation on the opposite side now. UMD needs to try to get budget control back, and this is how UVA wants to be playing their offense. This pass a little flat. They're going to get to press off that missed beat, so either way they're going to be using a reset. Good composure there by the Maryland quaffle players. Your beaters take a shot. They fail. You use your reset. No reason to push it there. Nice and slow, I assume, to give his beater time to get back in position. So far, the UMD beaters to throw on every exchange, and the UVA beater seems pretty prepared for that. And again, so we talked about this on an earlier video. If you're getting a player into the blocking stance here, you do not want to throw from here, right? You don't have a good angle. You need to close the space. It'd be great if his teammate could be doing something to affect the play instead the other beater's behind the play. So the throw there is not going to be effective. And I don't think they have a reset anymore, so they have to go. Good defense. So right now UVA has won every bludger exchange that's happened. And I think they've all been between Lane Burgess, which is this beater, and Zane Balia, which is that beater. Though I guess UMD did get budget control at the end of that play. All right, I'm going to go back really fast and figure out how this happened, how they got budget control. So he blocks. Oh, he loses the ball and he actually gets out raced to it. Okay. So now UVA, again, doesn't have budget control on offense. Good beat there. Smart play. But this is no bludger, so let's see if UVA can really push the pace off this second. Missed shot. Yeah, I feel like that should have been a goal probably on the initial part, but it happened a little off screen, so it's hard to see exactly what happened. But I like UMD looking to break here. Yeah, easy goal. Nice. Oh. Getting called no good? Unclear. So this is a tough roughing situation you're getting into here, right? So I think the head ref. So I'm going on a tangent now. This is a reffing tangent. I think the head ref could get a little closer to the play here on the fast break. But once he's not and doesn't have an angle, he's got to listen to one of these two people, right? And I think he's about to get two opposite reactions from them. And what you have to do basically is I would stop play here. I would not let this keep going on a live play. I would talk to the two of them. You need to assess who seems more confident and also who you think had the better angle. And if one person both seems more confident and should have had the better angle in the situation, that's who you should go with. Regardless, I do like UMD running the break. I like when I'm facing a team playing zone defense, I want to face their zone as few times as possible, so I always want to look to fast break, and that was a well-executed one. Good exchange there by UMD. So UVA is trying to go off of every single beater exchange, and I think sometimes they're not winning them. And then not only are they forcing an offensive possession, but they're allowing a chance for a fast break attempt. UMD bringing it out to that wing, winning with those drives. I don't like that shot at all, though. Could someone else have been moving better on this play? Let's see. So I think Sheridan can probably make this cut to this far hoop here, which he does. It's just not seen. I think this just needs one more pass. I mean, the shot's not terrible. It's a classic Maryland. Always put your hands up for a goal because maybe it'll confuse the ref. Fast forward. Bunch of control again with UMD. They again try to tag Zane. I think it worked that time. I feel like UVA is complicating things right now. So that pass isn't really doing too much. Okay, so this is good. So they do force two onto here. It's just a bad pass. I think he just throws it before he makes his cut to the left. He's already got the double team. Why would you then drive into the double team? Like, you've created what you want before the drive. Sometimes you have to drive to create an offensive opportunity. Here, he's driving into one that's already there. And that's why he throws it away. So the play was conceptually fine. It just was poorly executed. UMD, again, looking to run. I like this. Look to run every time, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Yep. Looks like he didn't re-enter the right way. So that's fine. Another fast break. Ugh, I hate that pass. Let's look at this one more time. Every cut is flat to him. This cut's flat. This cut that he ends up throwing is behind him. Something needs to be arcing towards a hoop or arcing down this side. Nobody gives him a good opportunity to throw. And I think he was going against the bludger anyway, but regardless, there should have been a better cut here. And it breaks down when she doesn't handle the ball well. UMD kind of seems out of sorts because they're playing this two-male beater set that they don't usually play. Well, I'm really curious how long they're going to play it. That was forced a bit. So this isn't where we want to be attacking this Maryland zone, right? Like right on this wing. We want to get it up here because usually this doesn't do anything against your cav wall because the whole defense is still behind you. But if you get it here now, you're already past these two defenders. This deep, it's going to be a lot harder to do something with. It was a good cleanup by the beater anyway. Let's see if Maryland gets any better ideas offensively here. UVA again kind of using the Mario Nasta to keep bludger control. I think they could have pressed off of that for a second, right? Maybe at least force a reset. Even if you're not going to go full on press, like just don't stand around for that whole time. It's a smart play for bludger control. No bludgers. They should be going. Yep. That's much better. That's that cut we want to see, right? That's the one we were talking about. On this wing, cutting towards that hoop. Hit him in stride. He just, I guess, misses the shot. But no, that's better. It's a much better possession from UMD. Though they still can get bludger control from it. Hey, they're going to get a goal. They got to go out of it eventually anyway. Good, good, good. All right, so this is one of the first possessions that we've seen, I feel like, where the offensive team has bludger control. Let's see what UVA's strategies are. I like this. Why isn't there a chaser here? Because, right, this pass goes here, and this beater's protecting the chaser, and they can drive. I don't like this positioning. That's going to be hard to get to. I don't like this positioning. The chaser can just slip over. Why isn't either he or she right here? At least he's going to walk over there. But then he just throws it back into a non-dangerous space. Yeah. See, this defense is meant to stop those drives. You need to pass once. Your no bludger situation shouldn't just be, hey, I'm going to drive. This team's more physical than you. They're more athletic than you. Make a pass to these open spaces. All right, UMD's finally out of that 2-mil beater set. So let's see what a more standard set looks like for them. See, it's better. She was doing what their other beater was not doing and actually engaging with the top beater so that he has to deal with two things at once instead of those really easy blocks he was making previously. And he got the ball thrown back a little bit. I don't know if they'll get control here, but at least they're able to finally get a beat off on him, which they haven't been able to do the whole game. They don't actually get bludger control. Hey, I assume that's the same cut we were just talking about. So UMD's getting close. I like their ideas. I think their execution's not quite there, and I think the fact that they're getting a little unlucky in some of these beater exchanges and also just getting beaten in some of these beater exchanges. I mean, it's not just luck. I think the UVA beaters are very good. All right, perfect. So now take it to this wing. Now make this beat. I think he's about to. I think I also just put closed captions on, so sorry about that. Good, makes that beat. Now drive here. Now where's the rest of his team? Why is there nobody behind the hoops? Oh, she's way out there. That's not where you want to be. That's too far out of the play. She needs to be right around here. She's going to get there. But then he's pulling back out. UVA keeps wanting to go to this non-dangerous space against the zone. The way the zone works, the least dangerous space is inside the hoops. They're determined to spend all their time there. And then they're going to drive through it all. No, the UVA is just not attacking this UMD zone very well right now. Their beaters are dominating the game, and they can't create any offensive opportunities. New barrier pair for UMD. Let's see if they have a little bit more luck. No luck there. I think they're going to get to press off of this. Yet they do. Nice clean press. They should get a turnover out of this. Yeah, they do. Yeah. So let's kind of diagram this really quickly. So they get the press. This has to communicate. Too many times both of these beaters run to the same person. These two have to communicate in 1 second. Someone's going to ball, someone's going to first passing option, right? He points it out. Perfect. You're going here. I'm going to make sure he doesn't have this pass. And once that pass has to go behind, he closes down that. He finds the next pass. Really nicely executed press by those two UVA beaters. Not allowing it to just be a free reset. not enough teams practice the way their beaters press, and they waste opportunities to get turnovers because of it. It's a very dynamic, quick decision that you need to execute perfectly. See? That's all they needed to do this whole time. Just get it to the wing and then throw. But I think he's going to be a little lackluster about it. No, he scored a goal. See? We'll see if UVA goes back to that, because that's how you actually attack it. You don't keep trying to drive through a very narrow area on the front of the hoops. By passing it back, the keeper had to step out. By the keeper stepping out, UMD no longer had a tall person to guard the hoops, and it opened up that mid-range shot very nicely. Good play for bludger control there from UMD. I like the hitting the driving player. Good stop by UVA. I think we're really seeing how narrow the margins are you have to attack UVA's zone if they're able to keep bludger control, which they've been able to do for an extended period of time now. Cool. So it seems like they've changed up their offense, and they've just told their keeper he's playing behind the hoops now. And I think that's a lot better for them. I like this. No rush when you're down offensive player. You need your whole offense to be able to break down a zone, so you should not be going hard on... he's going. Okay. They did it well for like 7 of the 10 seconds they needed for that keeper to get back in the play, and then they just decided to go for it anyway. And it looks like he's apologizing. He said, "My bad" for that. I keep not knowing whether to fast forward because I can't tell how quickly each time a team's going to walk up, and then they always seem to go a little bit slowly. And I think it's another one exchange for UVA. No, they finally lost one. UMD's finally going to have bludger control here, so let's see if they can attack the zone a little bit more effectively. Yep, there's the wing. I like this rotation from UVA. I would like to see her drive in before she threw it out to the keeper there. Now she's throwing the keeper flat, and it doesn't actually do anything to test the integrity of the zone. Oof. So I guess they're going to call him beat before on that. But this is what I was talking about in all the free space that the zone has if their beaters if they don't have 2 bludgers, right? Look at how wide open every single UMD player is to get this pass. And he just gets beat a second before. We're going to fast forward this time. Learned our lesson. I'm probably just going to play this film through to snitch on pitch time. I think there's less to glean from non-snitch on pitch, and I think this video is going to run a little bit long anyway. I'm so curious because whether UVA had this scheme in their back pocket already for facing the UMD zone, because they've run it very effectively once they decided to start running it. They just didn't bother running it for the first 5 minutes of the game. UMD able to keep bludger control. I think that last pass was probably forced. Let me see if they had to make this pass. Yeah, nobody's stepping to... I think you use your reset there. I don't think you throw that. But I guess it wasn't too low percentage. But the whole defense is there with him. All right. UMD... I don't like this, right? So you've got your beaters here having a conversation with the sideline. They're not investing themselves in the play. So your chasers are playing without your beaters? That doesn't make sense to me. That needs to be communicated better. I don't think the keeper even notices it either. I think it might not matter. They might catch up to the play eventually. But this shows me that like the UMD beaters and chasers aren't really doing anything in coordinated ways with each other because the chasers haven't even seemed to notice that the beaters aren't there. And this is just not probing enough, right? These passes are too soft. The UVA defense can go through its entire shift by the time the pass gets there. That's much better. So see how this is one too many passes for this zone to handle? The first one drew the one defender out. The second one drew a second defender out. And then because there's a defender behind the hoops, there's nobody to cover the third pass other than the beater. Which is why you want your beaters in the play to affect that beater. But, you know, UMD's beaters never got into this play. You get stoppage. A little deeper wing. I like that better. It's good movement. This is setting up for him to go right to this hoop. Look how open this is. This is the cut against the defense if it opens up, that weak side cut. And usually it doesn't open up because there's defenders here, but there's nobody here right now because everyone got shifted out. And he makes the shot either way. Either way, that weak side was wide open. So better movement from UVA and a little bit of a slow shifting defense there from UMD. UMD moving back towards their first line. Beaters. UVA's beaters sitting deeper to not lose ball control. I don't love this. I don't know what. So if your team's not pressing with you, if your beater's not going to cover this and no player, what are you doing here other than putting yourself out of position? Maybe you scare her into making a really bad pass, but I mean, you have to give credit to a high-level player that it's not going to happen. And instead, you're the one making this mistake. You're putting yourself out of position, and he's going to clean this up for budget control. Yeah. That said, UMD has still not effectively attacked the one bludger version of UVA's defense. Because every pass is flat. Not enough people are catching the ball going towards the hoops. Which gives the beater time to recover. There we go. UMD lost bludger control at the end of the play somehow? I don't know what the UMD beater was doing here. They went into, I guess, try to create a no bludger, but then whiffed on the beat. It was a weird play. I don't like giving up bludger control that late into an offensive set. If you're going to send a beater all the way back with bludger control to defend behind the hoops, you do that before the play is happening, not during the play. Now they're getting too centered again. Well, out to the wing. Yeah, they keep trying to do this driving dish that's just not necessary to get past this UMD zone because it's condensing the zone by bringing the point defender back into it. You want to just dish. It's kind of the difference, right? UMD needs to be hitting their players in stride. UVA just needs to be hitting their players. See it. So I think this is a less coordinated pressed this time by the two beaters. We talked about how nicely coordinated the last one was. I guess he's covering this short pass, but I think you have to trust your teammate's going to cover that pass, and you need to go to the far side where I think this pass is eventually going to go. They get it anyway. This made the difference. Chasers often don't run with their presses. He reads this pass from all the way back here and creates a turnover. That was a weird fast break. I'm not sure what happened. It happened off screen, so we won't break that one down. UVA again able to keep bludger control through an exchange. They could probably press again. Yeah. I think UMD probably just has to give that up there. So they get bludger control at the end. So good for them. I don't love that tap beat because we've talked about how we don't want to condense UMD zone here, right? Like, we're not trying to drive through here. So what's the point of getting rid of the point defender? They don't even make an adjustment to this. Like, nobody's stepping up. So you're just condensing their defense more before your play is ready to start. So he's going to lose this exchange by making a tap beat that didn't actually do anything for his offense. And now UMD gets suppressed for one. I like the early beat. Yeah, good. Let's see him run. Why aren't we running? Did they lose bludger control again? No, they have bludger control. UMD has not had a good idea to break down this UVA defense the entire game, and you get your keeper the ball with most of the play behind him and bludger control, and you're not going to run a fast break here. And that's what's going to happen. It's something I've noticed a lot from both of these teams this season. You can see it in their regional championship final as well. They don't look to push against each other. They don't look to fast break. They're always happy to play these half-court sets against each other, against these zones that neither one seems very potent at breaking down. Now they're in a bit of a box, which I don't think does anything against this 2-2. This 2-2 wants to see a box more than anything. Though I guess they are up a man because there was a penalty on that play. So these beaters are fading, right? If these beaters are fading, you need to be closer. You have to force them out. Your beater can't make a play on bludger control under the hoops. It's not going to do anything. You need to at least force something. And right now, shots are wide open. So if you get even to this space, they have to play you honest. Yeah, so now he's just forcing under hoops. Yeah. They're going to get no bludger out of it because UMD prioritized bludger control. And I think, so let's see. So he takes the beat. He does kind of that roll back there. Once this is a scrap on the ground, knowing the other player's beat, this beater has to go play the quaffle. Because this should just be a scrap on the ground for the next extended period of time. Enough time at least for you to make sure no goal gets scored and comes back. Worst case, you lose bludger control. I don't know the exact time. If this is like 17:30 and this is like an even game, I'm fine with making this beat because bludger control, you want to have it when the snitch comes out. Otherwise, though, you just go play quaffle here. Because he'd already gotten it himself, right, before that beat. Yeah. Alright, snitch on pitch. Bludger control UMD. So I guess that play is a little bit more defensible if Snitch was literally about to come out on pitch. Also depending on the score, which I honestly don't know at this moment. I don't see the point of that pick and roll action. It's just getting them more of these flat passes. Did UMD lose bludger control here with the snitch about to come on while playing defense? What happens here? Oh, he goes for a tap beat. This is just unnecessary. Nobody's forcing you into anything. There's no beat. The bludger is 20 yards away from you. That's a real bad way to potentially lose bludger control. Yeah, they do lose bludger control. And they're going to give up a goal the other way. So that was a goal swing, a bludger control swing, right before snitch on pitch from one tap beat made at midfield. And that's why every single play in a Quidditch match matters, right? All right, I'm going to stop it there. So I know UMD eventually does catch to win. But I think most of the things that are going to be worthwhile to break down we've already seen. So what did we learn today? So we got to see how two college teams went about attempting to attack each other's zones, right? We got to look at two zones, the 2-2 hybrid played by Maryland and the 1-2-1 played by UVA. On the UVA side, their defense really seemed to have a complete hole on Maryland. They really struggled to score in anything but a broken play or maybe a couple fast breaks. And the reason for this is we were talking about the UVA zone is really a beater-focused zone. Your beaters need to win, not your chasers, because there's so much open space that they have to cover. And they did so effectively. They kept bludger control. They pressed really, really well. And because of that, they shut down UMD again and again. On the opposite side, UVA really struggled to come up with good ideas to attack the Maryland zone, right? So we finally saw about halfway through the game, they positioned their keeper behind the hoops. They worked it back there, and they let the offense work from there, and they were a lot more effective. When early in the game, they were trying to play vertically from the front, so between the hoops, they were driving and trying to shoot or driving and trying to score. That is what the Maryland defense wants to eat up. It wants to stop your drives, and it wants to stop your shots, and that's all UVA was doing early, and they wasted a lot of possessions through that. I would say that this game felt like UVA should have been out of range with the way their beaters played, and instead they end up losing this game, and I think it was those wasted offensive possessions that caused that. Last thing I want to touch on is that I don't think either of these teams is fast breaking as efficiently as they could, or even looking to fast break. You can always pull out of a fast break, but the easiest way to face a zone is to not have to face that zone, and these two teams chose to play half-court possession after half-court possession against each other versus each other's zones. It's going to do it for us today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a couple things. We'll be back tomorrow. Please like and subscribe, and have a good night.